We all know the shroud of secrecy that generally hangs over the Patriots, specifically Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. And that's been peeled back this week. Tom versus Time has been rolling out on Facebook now for about a week. Last night, the two Bills 30 for 30 on ESPN, which was mind-blowing. I think is the best 30 for 30 they've done. It was absolutely outstanding. Let's start there. And I don't even know where to start. There were so many moments from Bill Parcells calling Robert Kraft as Darth Vader to negotiate the Belichick deal, a snowstorm stopping Kraft from hiring Dom Capers. You saw elements of storylines now in the league being against the Patriots, in Belichick not trusting the front office that go back to the late 90s. It was just, everything you wanted it to be and more.
Yeah, it was really impressive. I mean, it's one of those things where, obviously I'm 26 years old, so my football watching days don't go back as far as Belichick and Parcells with the Giants or anything like that. But, I really started watching the Patriots when Pete Carroll was the coach. But, I mean, just watching the dynamic between those two, I mean, you juxtapose them in the present day speaking about, all the different things that went on in the past, and then lay in all the different footage and just so many great things about it. Belichick, Parcells' coaching style, I mean, just it's one of a kind. No one like that in the league anymore. It's just really interesting to see that stuff. It was great to hear stuff from the old Giants players. I mean, Lawrence Taylor and Harry Carson, all those guys talking about how they didn't really trust Belichick at first because he didn't play football and all this stuff. But when they saw how great of a coach he really was, how great of a defensive mind he really was, how they totally bought in and went off to win those couple Super Bowls and things like that. It's impressive. I mean, it was impressive to see how good of a coach Belichick was, even with the Cleveland Browns, and how he was trying to kind of establish the Patriots way, so to speak, with the Cleveland Browns, and no one really bought into it, So it was just a lot of different things were really interesting about it. Obviously the dynamic between Belichick and Parcells and their personal relationship was interesting, and really didn't get a ton of answers from it anyway, because they were kind of avoiding questions about it, especially that time with the Jets and things like that.
Well, I thought it was so well done when the camera quit out that they left that whole part in. Spoiler alert, but at one point one of the cameras fails and they leave the other one rolling, and it's I won't say what it's one of the best moments. I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it, but that was one of the best moments.
Yeah, it was. It was very enjoyable. I mean, it was just kind of all around just great to watch. And then it was the Patriots stuff, obviously, as Patriots fans and things like that. Those, probably the part we were most interested in. And it was interesting. I didn't read it yet, but I saw a column up this morning by I believe it was Doug Kyde of Nesson, saying that you can really kind of see how there are some parallels between the friction that was started way back then with Parcells and Kraft and Belichick. And then a little bit of the focus that's going on right now with the tension in the locker room, and whether, Kraft and Belichick are have issues and stuff like that. It's really interesting to see that, the seeds were sown all the way back then, and still today there is a little bit of friction. So it was just all around really interesting to watch.
And that's what stood out to me. I thought there was no shot that Belichick left New England before I saw that, but the whole shopping for the groceries thing, and Belichick clearly takes what Parcells says as word. Like that's what he believes in. So if Kraft is interfering with Belichick in his player personnel decisions, and Belichick saw what Parcells did when Kraft interfered with him, it made me think twice about being sure Belichick is the coach next year. I still think he will be, but it definitely gave me pause. Real quick, Mike, what was your favorite moment?
Mike, I haven't seen it yet, so, so you got to go.
Other Mike, sorry. We'll get to Mike Dussault in a second. Other Mike, what was your favorite?
Well, yeah, I mean, for me, it was just one of my favorite parts, I would say, was Robert Kraft. I was pretty surprised at the kind of shots that he was taking at the league office, even back then, how he was saying that the league, how they wanted Parcells to be in, in New York in order to, better for the league and things like that. It's very interesting. And I'm not sure he would have said that. Maybe if Deflategate had never happened, I'm not sure if he would have even gone there. But it was interesting to see how he was taking shots at the league for things they were doing back then, and then even kind of laid in some of the shots of things that the league continues to do now. It was pretty surprising to see him be so outright about saying those things.
We had a line, something along the lines of, when they were first trying to get Belichick away from the Patriots, from the Jets, something along the lines of, that was the moment I realized that the NFL office wasn't pure. And I jumped out of my seat.
Yeah,
and
that was
that
was the biggest one right there. That really, I was like, wow, kind of.
And then, my favorite moment was at the end when Parcells and Belichick walk out of the Giants locker room where they filmed it, and they're kind of being led by the production crew. And Parcells realized they're taking him to the Jets locker room, and he just leaves. And he's like, I don't want to go in the Jets locker room. No, why would I want to go in there? And my first thought was, if they had actually filmed the segment in the Jets locker room, first Pats Jets game next year, the Patriots won, all the Jets fans would be pointing to, Belichick was in our locker room this summer. What did he see? What did he take? So I'm sure Jets fans love the idea of Belichick going in their locker room unattended. The other documentary this week, Tom vs. Time, a little bit of a different feel to it. Obviously, it does have an infomercial feel for TB12, but not as much, I think, as I expected, not as much as a lot of people expected. And it's been very cool to see Tom Brady just kind of as a family man. He does come across very humble. I think the best scenes are the ones of him in the car with his family after the game. Those have been really awesome to see. Mike Dussault, I know you haven't gotten a chance to see the two Bills yet. I hope we didn't spoil it for you, but you've gotten a chance to watch Tom vs. Time.
I did. I mean, it's remarkable. It's finally just a little bit of a glimpse behind the Brady curtain, which has certainly seemed to be getting higher and higher lately. But I think it was really cool. I think I agree. The football stuff with after the game and, kind of seeing his wife, and how she gets fired up about it was pretty cool. And, I think my favorite moment was in one of the early episodes when he pops on the film from Super Bowl 42 and just watching him go through the emotion of it all and remembering how I kind of went through the same emotion of it all as well. It's kind of a nice reminder of how much these guys do care. And, it means just as much to them as it does to us. And, it's just an interesting moment kind of breaking down that final heave-ho to Randy Moss that almost was complete.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Alex.
No, go ahead.
Well, for me, it was the thing that really struck me the most after watching, what has been four or five episodes now. The one thing that really struck me watching them is there is now no doubt why Tom Brady is as good as he is. I mean, the guy watches film 6 hours a day by himself. That's not even counting when you go into the facility and watch film as a team, as a quarterbacks group, whatever. The guy watches film for 6 hours a day in his room, just sitting there watching, and then he leaves, voice memos, sending them to Josh McDaniels, telling him, this is what I'm seeing, let me know what you think, all this different stuff. So there's that part of it. And then also the aspect of, he takes two of his teammates out to Montana and works really hard with them, for a week at a time and all that stuff. And then the just sheer emotion of after a game. I mean, he was furious after they lost to the Panthers. He was distraught after they lost to the Chiefs. And then the final thing was, it was really interesting to see just, we've always known that Giselle has been really supportive of him, but to see it actually play out like that in kind of those candid moments, like you mentioned, like the one in the car when they're driving home after the Chiefs game, it's just really great to see, a football wife like that be so supportive of her husband. And, you always hear these stories about how Giselle wants Tom to retire. Giselle wants Tom to retire. And I'm sure that's true, for their family, but there is no doubt in my mind that she 100% supports, everything he's doing. And that includes the fact that he continues to play into his 40s.
Well, I think it does put in context well the "I have all the answers to the test" quote, going back to how much he watches film and all that. I think they've done a great job of that. I want to thank our sponsors for today's roundtable, DraftKings.com. You can go to DraftKings.com and use the promo code CLNS for free match play. I want to thank Simple Contacts, where you'll be blown away by the quality and ease of use. Go to simplecontacts.com/Trags and use the promo code TRAGS, that's TRAGS, for $30 off your first order of contact lenses. Today's segment is also brought to you by RX Bar. RX Bar is a whole food protein bar. What does that mean? Well, their bars are made with 100% whole ingredients. Support our programming by going to rxbar.com/CLNS and use the promo code CLNS. Our listeners will receive 25% off their first purchase. That's going to do it for us today. Final roundtable somehow of the week. We made it, guys. Trags will have you. Mike Petraglia will have you tomorrow from Minnesota. You can catch all of that on @PatriotsCLNS on Twitter, clnsmedia.com. And then, Mike, we'll be back Sunday. We're on deck after Trags here. Super Bowl pregame show on the Patriots YouTube, on the CLNS YouTube channel and shindig.com, starting at about 4:30. You can follow Mike and myself on Twitter at RealAlexBarth, at CLNS_Longy to get updates on all that. Mike Dussault on Twitter at Pat's Propaganda. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
And again, for all our Patriots content, at Patriots CLNS on Twitter, clnsmedia.com. I will talk to everybody Sunday. We're almost there, folks. Hang in there.